ask your question when she's done with our conversation. Thank you very much, please.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here,
Thank you.
Karmat. Thank you all for joining this evening, morning for me. So wherever you're tuning in from, very happy to be here. My name is Lena Adeli. I'm the Director of International Admission at Sarah Lawrence College in Bronxville, New York. Just about myself, I've been working with international students for about 15 years, and the students that I meet and the connections that I make are what make this job so important to me. So very happy to be here. I will try and keep it to the 20 minutes. I will definitely, and excited to get your questions as well. So just starting off, Sarah Lawrence College, we're a School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. We're located in Bronxville, New York. Which is about 30 minutes from New York City. It's a 30 minutes by train, very, very close. So really best of both worlds. Here you can see an aerial shot of our campus. When students visit or they see photos, they really find it hard to believe there's so much green right outside of New York City, so close. But here you are, aerial view of our campus. Starting off, so Sarah Lawrence, Liberal Arts and Sciences, we were initially founded as an all-women's college and became co-educational in the 60s. Sarah Lawrence is home to about 1,500 undergraduate students from more than 50 countries. About 10% of our students come from outside of the United States, and international students are a really big part of who we are. Adding as well is that, and we'll talk more about student life, but Sarah Lawrence is a largely residential campus. About 85% of students live on campus all 4 years. Here in this photo, you're seeing our Barbara Walters Student Center. This is our newest building on campus, and it is named after an alumni from Sarah Lawrence, Barbara Walters, who was a very, very influential journalist in the United States. And here is a building where students can get food, relax, study, meet in groups, a lot of student-centered spaces. So a bit more about our location in Bronxville. So you might not have heard of Bronxville, New York, but it is a small, very walkable town for students. And you can see here on the map, the Metro North runs very close to our campus in walking distance and very, very close to New York City. So we have some students that are commuting into the city daily for internships. We have students that go to New York City on the weekends. So we really like to say that it's best of both worlds because you have the opportunity to be near the metropolitan Manhattan and all the boroughs to take advantage of the culture and internships and the entertainment and food and all of those things that make New York City so wonderful. But you also have the opportunity to be on a small campus where you have that residential experience, where you have small class sizes, and it's very much live where you learn, where students come and they enjoy to spend time together on campus. They know their colleagues. The president lives on campus, our dean. So it's very much the opportunity to have those two really important, distinctive experiences with having that campus, the residential campus, and New York City so close. So moving ahead, as I mentioned, a question I get a lot from students is just about, how do students spend their time on the weekends? And as I said, there's a lot going on campus in addition to students that go into Manhattan quite often. I'm going to talk a little bit about Sarah Lawrence academics. So at Sarah Lawrence, we utilize a completely open curriculum. So unlike other institutions where you formally declare a major, at Sarah Lawrence, every student will build their own academic pathway alongside their advisor. And this advisor is your academic Don, and this person will be with you all 4 years. So not only do we have an open curriculum at Sarah Lawrence, but we also do not have required courses. So the way that in other institutions you'll have maybe prerequisites, liberal arts requirements, distribution requirements, at Sarah Lawrence, we don't have one required class that every student has to take. So what do we have and what is required? So we have hundreds of courses in 50 disciplines in 4 key areas. I like to say that these are kind of buckets, right? 4 areas, 4 buckets. One being what we're known for in many ways in the United States being the creative areas, right? film and writing and art history and theater and design, creative writing, visual arts, all of these things fall under that umbrella. Two being the social sciences, right? Your ever popular sociology, economics, psychology, students that are studying international relations, foreign policy, falling under that umbrella of social sciences. Third, our third category is in the humanities, students that are studying things like art history, but also studying languages and studying things within the foreign languages. And finally, our STEM and mathematics area. So very popular with biology, environmental science, computer science, etc. So these four areas. And what is required of students is that they take at least 2 courses in 3 out of 4 of those areas, whether it's 2 courses or 1 year-long course. So a bit more about academics is this is what a typical Sarah Lawrence classroom looks like. So 90% of our classes are going to be roundtable seminar courses, discussion-based courses. Maximum students is about 15, on average 12. So the education model at Sarah Lawrence is that of Oxford and Cambridge. We utilize this Oxbridge system. So like the Oxford tutorials and seminars, Sarah Lawrence has our class-based discussion, right, courses, and then we have one-on-one conferences with professors. So students at Sarah Lawrence will take seminar-style courses, which is the most common course. And then for every course you'll take, you'll meet with your professor one-on-one outside of the classroom, at least every 2 weeks to work on a project of your choosing. So this means that within the classroom, it's very, very discussion based. Your classmates and your professors are like colleagues to you, and you're working on different topics that mean a lot to you. If you're tuning in and familiar with the IB, this is very, very similar to what students describe. They tell me that it's similar to what their experience was in a TOK classroom. So discussion based and then meeting one-on-one. So this 11-to-1 faculty student ratio becomes 1-to-1, right? And you're building these very strong relationships, more FaceTime with professors than anywhere I've seen. So the purpose of those meetings you have with your professors is to work on a project of your choosing. This is called a conference project. This is by no means an end of the year assignment. Rather, you'll be working with your professor to work on a project of your choosing. This can be research, it can be artwork, it can be an internship, it can be writing, it can be anything that you'd like it to be. And again, it's compared, students do compare it sometimes to the IB's extended essay or the AP's capstone. And, not to scare students, but the beauty of it is that we don't have required courses. So the courses you take and the projects you work on are those that you're interested in, are those that you want to be passionate about. And like anything in life, when you do things that you love and are interested in, you put more of yourself into it. So I mentioned you're working with your advisor at Sarah Lawrence to create your own pathway. At Sarah Lawrence, our advisors are known as Dons, your academic Don, and that comes after the Oxford Cambridge Don as well. So this is going to be the person you're going to connect with before you come to Sarah Lawrence. They will teach your course, which is the first year seminar, as the name suggests, right? This is a first year course that introduces you into the Sarah Lawrence way of doing things. And then you'll be meeting in your first semester with your Don, your academic Don, once a week to navigate the curriculum, talk about your options, talk about your education trajectory. They are really there to support you in every way. But we like to say that students are in the driver's seat of their education at Sarah Lawrence. Students can, create a pathway that's very similar to what you might think of as a traditional major minor, right? Students want to focus heavily in biology, or they want to focus solely in theater, and that's okay too. But we really feel like, for some students, they want to create kind of more traditional path, or it can be as interdisciplinary as you like it to be. We have students that connect things like music and computer science, right? At Sarah Lawrence, our scientists are also writers, right? What's the point of a good idea if you can't express yourself? And we feel like every course that we offer at Sarah Lawrence connects to one another, right? No student is just one thing. Our students, we refer to as hyphenates. Sarah Lawrence students are hyphenates. And what does that mean? It means We're talking about this dash between two words, right? Our students are poetic biologists. They're entrepreneur filmmakers. They're environmental fashion designers. They're taking seemingly different and disparate interests to create a pathway that's uniquely theirs. So I can talk about academics all day, but I am happy to answer questions, but I'm going to move along, talking about student life, right? So the experience you have on the campus is a big part of it. Here you have our hub. It's actually, while the Barbara Walters Campus Center is the newest building on campus, this is our newest renovated building that opened fall of last year, and it stands for Humanity, Understanding, and Belonging. I love this space. And I love that Sarah Lawrence dedicated time and energy and efforts and finances to a space like this. This is where our international student office is, where our DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion office lies. It's where students can go and have spiritual spaces, meditation rooms. We have shared spaces for events and kitchens. There's a halal and kosher kitchen. This space was really a goal of Sarah Lawrence to really emphasize our mission of belonging. A lot of really great offices in here. We hold events for international students in here, welcomes, end of the year celebrations, meetings. So really a great spot on campus. Talking about kind of what students are doing. Our proximity to New York City really makes a difference because many of our students are heavily involved in a lot of the business world, the art world, science world in Manhattan. We have a really wonderful and supportive career services office. Like many schools, they're there to help you to find jobs on campus and internships. So here's just a bit of a highlight from some of our students and the things that they're doing, out there in the world while they're at Sarah Lawrence and after university as well. Mentioned where it's residential campus, about 85% of students live on campus all 4 years, but you are required to live there your first year. Student spaces, of course, we have various kinds of dormitories. You can see all those photos online, and we also have a virtual tour of those rooms as well. Here's a photo from our environmental center on the Hudson River. It is a part of campus that's not directly attached to our main campus, but it is it's a robust program. Students are studying things like eel migration, water purity, environment. So the environmental science programs are really, really popular with our students, and they connect them with many, many different areas and academic disciplines. Performing arts is a really big part of our campus as well. Many of our students are very focused in the arts. They're working with Broadway directors and choreographers and dancers and filmmakers, but whether you want to be very, invested in just the arts, or you'd like to take a dance class or art class alongside of, your economics or your computer science, you have those options at Sarah Lawrence. A little bit about student life, lots of things going on, close to 100 student-run clubs and organizations, everything from the Latin American Student Association to Women in STEM to the International Student Organizations, to environmental action groups, a lot of things that are happening. And I like to say to students, you can never overestimate the kind of power and influence you can have on a campus like Sarah Lawrence. If there is a group or organization you want to be part of and it might not exist, we encourage students to work with each other to get a group together and to go to the Sarah Lawrence Student Programming Board and create events and organizations and groups that are meaningful to them. So just a bit more about campus on the weekends, a lot of things that are happening with different sporting events, concerts. So as I said, there are some students that, go into Manhattan every weekend, but others that stay for the different things that we have to offer. So a lot of happenings. Going to talk a bit about admission, and then I'm sure there'll be a bit of questions. But so Sarah Lawrence utilizes a holistic admission process. So what does that mean? So of course, like all schools, academics are very important, right? So we're looking for strong students academically, like any school, right? Students that are challenging themselves, working hard, and succeeding in their goals. But that's one piece of that, right? So in addition to strong students academically, Sarah Lawrence is also looking for interesting students. We're looking for students that have passions about the world around them, that have varying interests. And so in addition to our main requirements, we have also, some optional things you can do. So we use the Common Application. There is no application fee to apply for Sarah Lawrence College. We require your transcripts. We require 2 letters of recommendation. Typically, this is from a counselor or a teacher, but working with schools all over the world, we're aware that the role of a counselor is different, can be different in many places. So, of course, I'm flexible. And for me, 2 academic letters of recommendation. Who do you want to speak on your behalf, right? We require 1 English proficiency test if you're not a native English speaker or haven't been in an English curriculum in secondary school. We are test optional, so Sarah Lawrence does not require the SAT or ACT for admission or scholarship. Of course, many students do submit these scores. About half of the international applicants last year submitted standardized test scores. I will say that Sarah Lawrence has been test optional for more than 20 years. Back when it was uncommon, you might know many schools became test optional recently as a result of the pandemic. But for us, it was really important to share the message with students. There's not one test. There's not, one single thing that can tell us who you are as a student and your ability to succeed at Sarah Lawrence. So if you'd like to submit test scores, you can. So for the English proficiency, we will take IELTS, Duolingo, as well as TOEFL, of course. And then the common application essay is required there for you, which you'll include on the common application, your activities, and all those things that you're involved in. So some of the optional things students can do is we have interviews. I really encourage students to take advantage of virtual interviews. It's not only a good way for us to get to know you off paper, but it's also a chance for you to connect with a current student, right? Or perhaps a recent graduate of Sarah Lawrence and learn more one-on-one. So it's really this kind of reciprocal, great experience. We have the option of submitting art portfolios or creative arts, theater portfolios. Even if you would like to focus in film or dance, those are not required, but we give students the opportunity to submit any writing they'd like to share with us or any supplemental things. So for our deadlines, we have an early action and early decision deadline of November 1. And, of course, with early action, we love seeing that students are showing us interest early on. Early decision, I recommend for students for their right, if they think that a school is their top choice. We have early decision 2 as well in January, and then our regular decision. So all international students are eligible for both merit-based scholarships and financial aid. Sarah Lawrence does not use the CSS profile. Rather, we have our own international financial aid application. So you would indicate on your application that you were interested in financial aid. There's no application for the scholarship for merit. You would, when you apply, you're automatically considered for our merit scholarships. For financial aid, that application will become available when you submit the common application. About 75% of our students receive aid, and it's a big, it's a big part of our communications with students is being, really supportive while they're doing the application. So lastly, I'll say that I think we're just about at time, but it's a really personal process. I'm the first person that you'll be connecting with if you apply. And at Sarah Lawrence, it's really, I'm going to say we really have a counseling-based approach to admission, right? One, we're smaller. It's not that it's application number 1, number 2, number 3, right? If you're applying, I know you. We've connected. We jumped on a Zoom. You came to a session of mine. And we're working together to really figure out, what's the best path for you. And so it really is us getting to know you through the application. Of course, there's a second reader and a third reader and someone else. We really take time to read these applications, your essays, your interests. But I will share that for us, the most important thing is for you to show us who you are. So anything you'd like to share in your application, we'd welcome that. So I'll end it there for questions. And I'm very proud of myself for sticking to the 20 minutes because I'm a talker. So
Yeah, thank you so much. I had to turn on my video to let you know that you only have a few minutes before the session, question and answer session. Thank you so much, Lena,
Thank
for the
you.
robust, knowledge you have given to us about Sarah Lawrence College. And we'll be waiting on questions.
Yes, and I threw my
Thank
email
you.
here into the chat as well.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I'll say for anyone tuning in, of course, my job is to answer questions about Sarah Lawrence College, but I've been doing this for a long time. I know I look like a college student, but I've been doing this for a long time. And if you have questions in general about open curriculum, institutions, liberal arts, applying to schools outside of New York, I'm happy to be a resource for you. And if I don't have the answer, I can connect you with someone who might. So we're all in this
Thank
together.
you. Well, we'll be waiting for questions to pop in, but
Will,
we would like to ask you here, like,
please.
are there research opportunities for undergraduate studies, especially in the science and non-science or social science, faculty or phase?
Yes, in the STEM areas.
Yes, STEM areas and non-STEM.
Yes. So yeah, so at Sarah Lawrence, we have many, biology is very popular, environmental science, as I mentioned. We have students that are, have plans to do research, that want to do internships in the medical field, that are working with professors directly. And one of the really great things, and I've done a presentation about this separately, not about Sarah Lawrence, but studying STEM at small liberal arts schools, right? Because there's this notion sometimes, oh no, 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 I need a large public research institution. I need to do research. I need to do, I need to be in the lab. One of the great things about a liberal arts, a smaller school, is that all of the opportunities you have that are there on campus are for you. Whereas if students are a very much larger institution that is known for research, wonderful schools, there's a lot of competition for lab space for research, right? Because you are having graduate and postgraduate students. So at a school like Sarah Lawrence, because of our conference system, students are doing research from their first year, publishing with students, working on academic work. In place of, not to say there's no exams, but there's a de-emphasis, right, on
Mm.
that the only way to learn is by taking an exam, and the only way to learn is by, having an end of the year test. For us, there are these project-based meetings you have with professors who are, scientists and chemists and physicists who are working with you, and you're helping them with their research. So there's so much to be said for the value of studying the sciences, computer science, and other STEM areas at a smaller school like Sarah Lawrence. And I'm happy to also share examples of internships and projects that students have done. It's incredible. I'm constantly amazed by our students and their projects.
Thank you very much. Want to ask a question. Do you have specific programs that allows international students to transition smoothly? Um,
Yeah,
do you
thank you.
have maybe
That's a
a
great
unique program that you have from your school, at your
Yeah,
school?
great, great, and important question. So, in addition to kind of the relationship I build with students when they're applying, once if they decide Sarah Lawrence is for them, we'll work through that process with them, and they'll work with the Office of International Student Services. So, this office is for students, everything from pre-arrival. They'll do a series of workshops for students before they even come to campus. We have an pre-orientation and our standard orientation. There's going to be sessions for students, meet and greets. You'll have your international student advisor on campus that you can meet with, helping with things like job placement, OPT, getting your social security number to get a job on campus. The beauty of Sarah Lawrence is that every office, their doors open. You can walk in there and you can have a meeting with, international student office and, open hours, talk to other students about their experiences. And we really, really try hard to, connect students together before they arrive as well. And that kind of support is paramount for us. We know that it's such a big transition. It's already a big transition if you are a US student going to a US school, right? It's already. And then you add the fact that you're coming from very far away. It could be your first time away from home. It could be the first time that you've been to the States. It could be the first time that you've, not lived with several family members. We take all these things into consideration. And that's why it's so important for us to know each of our applicants, right? Our incoming students and their experience and their stories before they arrive, and we have those opportunities. So one of my favorite things is doing check-ins with students, right? Just quick virtual Zooms. I feel like some students I've never met that I know them so well because of those connections we've made. And so excited for them to arrive in the fall.
Oh, thank you so very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. I would like to ask if there is a kind of housing available for first year students. Like how many years can you stay for? Can you stay for the full year on campus for 4 years for the full for
Yes.
your the
So
full
a
duration
majority
of
of
school?
students, yeah. So majority of students will live on campus all 4 years, right? So first year, all the first year students stay in the main campus. We like that. And then we have things like apartment style housing and homes. So most students will live on campus all 4 years. It's required the first year. There are students that, of course, decide they want to live off campus. They have these dreams of living in Manhattan, but it's not the easiest thing, right, to get an apartment in New York City. So, for our students, especially coming from far away, having that home and community and support. And again, as I said before, very much live where you learn, right? So students are every one of our residence halls has academic buildings. You can wake up in your building and have a class at the bottom floor. So it's very much that residential campus experience, tight-knit community, rolling greens. So
Thank you so much. We will stay a little bit. We have 3 minutes to go. If we have any
great.
questions from the students, sorry, if you have any question from the students.
Yeah,
Well,
please let me
there's a
know.
question. There's a question here from one of my students that wanted to join, but she couldn't. And she read about Sarah Lawrence, and she sent me this question. She's trying to join in, but it's already late. That how do students balance academic freedom with career preparation? For example, she's going for medicine, especially those going for competitive sorry, courses like medicine. How do they, balance the academic freedom with career preparation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So medicine in itself, we can talk about, for much longer that it's very different applying to medical programs, right? In the United States, also in Canada. But of course, we do have a fair amount of students that really want to focus their time on biology, on the health fields, on things related to their pathway. And so what I'll say is that for any field a student wants to delve into, where they want to focus in one area or combine a few. The great thing is that you have the support of your academic don, right? So there's so much flexibility at Sarah Lawrence. There's so much freedom to kind of steer your academic trajectory in the way that you want. But I love to remind parents and students and counselors that with so much flexibility, you need maximum flexibility means maximum support, right? Because students aren't just come and take any classes you want. You're working with your
Mhm.
Don to, you're meeting with them once a week in your first semester, and they're going to assist you in figuring out that plan for you, right? And at Sarah Lawrence, I'll mention lastly too, I mentioned we have this seminar and conference system, right? Like the Oxford tutorial. Now, typically at other institutions, it's common for students to take 4 or 5 classes, correct? Right? That 5 classes full time, pretending we don't have credits coming in. But at Sarah Lawrence, if students are doing seminar courses, students will only be taking 3 courses a semester. And then I get gasps, right? Parents are like, 3 classes? That doesn't seem like enough. And I joke and I say, ask any Sarah Lawrence student if it's enough. Because what happens is you're doing your seminar and then your conference with your professor, your seminar, your conference, your seminar, your conference. And instead of a
Mhm.
class being 3 credits, it's 5 credits. So it's still the same amount of credits, right? 15, but 3 classes. But what happens is it's more depth and breadth in the things you care about, and no classes just because you have to, no fluff.
Mhm.
I like to
Yeah.
say. So what happens there is that it's intensive, but it's the coursework you want to take. So if you're focused in the health sciences, you can focus all of your attention, all of your studies, all of your research in those areas with professors that are not only top in their, academically, but they're also practitioners in their fields.
Okay, thank you so very much. There is a
Cheers.
the last question is we don't have much time at all. We don't have
I
any
know.
time. But the last question is, do you have like a cheat code? Give us a cheat code. What do you exactly look out for, in an international student during the
Yes,
application? I mean the application, a cheat
yeah.
code before we round off. Yes.
Yeah, I love students that are passionate. Students always ask me, what's the one activity that you're always looking for? What's one thing I should be involved in? There's not one thing, right? Every single one of our students is so unique. I love seeing that a student is, really, really into physics and chemistry, but they're also, they're also like could do poetry. So we're looking for students that are passionate, have diverse interests, and care about the world around them, right?
Yeah.
They're interested in forging their own path. So really looking for that kind of um, you're reading an application and students are saying that, I know that I want to do something to make the world a better place, and I have interest in this, and this. I love seeing that diversity of interest among students, but also that one student that says, I'm going to be a writer and that's what I'm going to do. And I've been working towards it forever. So students that are really passionate about whatever it is they believe in. And you can really feel that talking to students.
Well, thank you so very much. We don't have any time at all. I was
Thank
going to
you. Come
say,
on.
yeah, we're right behind schedule the time. Thank you so much, Lena. We sincerely
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
It's an honor to have this
I appreciate
conversation with you. I know the international student listening to us enjoyed the session. It was a robust presentation that you have made today. And I know some people that are having issues or network glitch would watch this on our channels. Thank you so very much. I believe
Thank
we will
you.
all connect with you soon during
Yes,
the
thank you
application
so, so
process.
much. Thank you
Thank you
all. It's
so
been
much,
such a
Lena.
pleasure. Cheers. Have
Thank
a great
you.
evening.
And you too. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.